Hi there friends, this is Chris with Peace of Mind Art and Crafts, and today I am going to continue on with the mermaid journal that we've been making. I did finish the front cover, and well, actually the whole cover, except for I am going to put some charms on the ties here. And let me show you, since I've got the back here, I just put a little sticker that says I'd rather be a mermaid, and a little icon piece that I got from the kit that I told you about that I got at Hobby Lobby, and I just glued those down. I decided to put the seahorse on the back because it was a little bit too big to put on the front. I think that turned out nice. Then I have the lace that I used up here. This is from an old antique collar that I cut apart. And I put a little turtle charm on there. That's supposed to kind of look like a net, like a fishing net, an old fishing net that's just hanging in the water. And then I used some ribbon in the shape of leaves that I got also at Hobby Lobby. And I distressed them with some ink. I used a cutout for the mermaid. And this came in the kit also, the Mermaid Dreams. I don't know if you can see that very well. It's kind of shiny. It might not show on camera as well. Then for the closure, I put a couple of grommets, one on the front and one on the back. And then I attached the ties to the side with some seam binding. I had this pretty light lavender ribbon, or seam binding. Then I did sew the pages in. You can have however many you want. I had about 9, so that's 18 total pages. Okay, and let me show you what I kind of been working on a little bit. I made a postcard. It says "Born to be a Mermaid," and I just put some writing on the front, or I should say the back of the postcard. And there's some writing space here also for the person that gets this journal. And slip that in this pocket. Now on this page, I did like I did the last journal. I used, this came with the kit, this cutout, this cardboard cutout. And then I had it come around to the back of the page also. So here's the mermaid's tail here. And kind of like she's swimming through the book. So I'll just show you the different pages I have. I don't have too much on them yet. I did make this little notebook. I had some parchment paper. And you can also write on this part of the little notebook. Parchment paper. Now these pages that are white, I don't normally like white pages in my journal, so I probably will stencil on these with ink, so they lose that bright whiteness. It's a very shiny page. It's a smaller page. I just used a cutoff from one of the other pages. Okay, some more parchment. Okay, and I told you guys about the little charm that I had bought at the beach, and it had a little card that came with it that told about the magic charm. And so I did include that. It is in here. A little bit hard to get out, which is good because I don't want, want it to just come out. All the pages are being turned. Here's the little mermaid charm that comes with it. And you can either keep this with your journal or you could put it in your pocket and select a charm. Okay. Free to wander any place. I think that's the cool thing about being a mermaid, is that you can just wander anywhere. Travel the 7 seas, as they say. And this is the middle. I'll probably do something to decorate this page. More pages. And I did try writing on these parchment papers, and they write on really well. I used I used the black Sharpie. I think I've showed you guys this before. This is a Sharpie Roller. The thing I like about the Sharpies is, of course, you can add, after they're dried, which doesn't take them very long to dry, you can add a anything that's wet, a paint or a glue or whatever, and it won't bleed, it won't run. So that's why I like the Sharpies. Although you could write with just a regular ballpoint pen on here. Okay, some more pages that need decoration, that's for sure. And here's the back pocket, Mermaid in Training. Okay, so let's, I'm going to start today by maybe doing some stenciling on some of the pages that are blank. I do have these let's see, let's do this one. These are nice because they're positionable, and then you can you don't have to worry about the stencils sliding around. I forget what they're called. I even forget who made them because I took them out of the package. But you can find them at most craft stores. And then I just take my brush and my ink, whatever color ink I'm going to use. I could use some blue ink in here also. I think I'll just kind of have this at the top and the bottom. I'm going to turn it going this way so I can make sure I have it on straight. It's easier to see. I hope you all are doing well today. It's a nice July morning here. We're finally not quite so hot that we've been. It's kind of more average temps going on right now. Let's see. Let's need to add some space to write. Or have some space to write, I should say. On here, so we do this on the side. And also, I do want to just add some very little in the middle part of the page, a little bit more of the ink. Like I said, I don't want it to be quite so white. Just too much white for me. You can also ink. Oh, I like that. You can also ink the parchment papers if you want. Really, any of the pages that you feel are kind of almost too white. This page, I think I'm going to ink a little bit. Get some of that white. You could also, before you put the pages in your book, you can also coffee dye or tea dye them, the backs of like this paper. And it would change the color of this a little bit, but that would be all right. It wouldn't take up too much of the coffee or tea dyeing. Let's see, what do I have that I could put on here as far as the stencil? Where did I drop it? I found it. Here we go. Oh. Let's put each, please. Dropping things all over the place here. Once again, I'm going to turn this way because I get a better angle at it as far as getting it straight. I'll have it go straight with the top of the page. And if I go kind of around this, it kind of gives it a little border. And by doing it with this brown ink, this light brown ink, especially on these parts, you could still write on those areas. Okay. Now these these parchment papers are I'm going to pretty much leave those blank, except for maybe some corner decorations, so that they can be written on. Pages like this, for example, we could do a decoration on. Here's my starfish that I had cut out of a piece of paper that I made on my jelly plate, and then I stamped it. I don't know. Let's see. I kind of like that. Let's glue that on there. We went to Sanibel Island in Florida in April, and one of the things that I didn't know was that this island is famous for having the most seashells. It's very good for a seashell collection. Great big giant ones and all kinds of different kinds, and they're not all crushed and broken like a lot of beaches. And we did get some really nice whole seashells. We didn't bring too many home, but we did bring some. Okay, that's pretty. I can also put something on that if I wanted to, but I don't think I will right at the moment. I also have for this book some things that I cut out. Some smaller things maybe that I could put on the corner of pages, that type of thing, and then maybe the bigger things I could put, for example, on here, or let's see. I kind of like these three sirens. how that works. Some people like to put their pages, sew their pages into a book, and then work at decorating them. And some people like to decorate the pages first and then sew them in. And there's an advantage to both. If you're going to do a lot of sewing around your pages, I suggest you do those pages first before you sew the pages. There's your signatures into the book. I pretty much just make one signature books. I guess because I like to get them done. I like to fill them with things, and that way they don't get too thick. Person that is buying the journal can always add more pages via the pockets. Like say they would write their journal notes on other pieces of paper, and then they could put them into the pockets. It's kind of the way I look at it. If they want more journaling space, they can get it that way. Okay, let's see. Oops. We can also add, which I like to do, add some lace to the pages. See if I have. I'll get some lace. I like this lace. Let's add that along the side here. And if you put it so like the decorative part is facing out, you get that little, just a little peak of it on the side there. Bring it up so you guys can see it. And then I generally like to, before I tap it down, I like to check to make sure that it's kind of even along the edge here. That's going to stick out on the other, it's going to stick out on the other side. Excuse me. Let me get a drink of water. You'll notice I didn't ink this. Oh, you don't have to ink everything. You know, some things are just fine without inking. You know, it's kind of whatever strikes your fancy. This corner was up a little bit. I'm gonna tap it down. There's my little mermaid. I just kind of, when I work on decorating my pages, I just kind of work all over. I don't really have too much going on as far as a plan, like do this on every third page or do that on every fourth page. I just kind of try to balance it out as I go. And so therefore I work on the whole thing at once rather than... Okay, and I like this lace on here. Let's see what it looks like peeking out. Okay, that's fine. And I'm going to cut this right here. Because what I usually do is I cut a straight edge on one end, And then that way when I glue it down, I can have the other end kind of hang over. And this lace is thin enough that I'm going to use the art glitter glue. If it was a little bit heavier lace, thicker lace, then I might use the fabric tack glue, because that holds down pretty well. Okay, so I'm gonna kind of glue this partially down. I've got it where I want it. Okay, and since this has holes in it, the glue's going to come through those holes. So I do have a wet wipe here that I'm going to gently blot this to try to catch some of that glue that's coming through the holes, so that it doesn't show up quite as much. And then after this dries, then I can go back and actually I'm gonna pull that up a little bit to get it a little bit more balanced. And this is fairly wet because that wet wipe did dampen it some. So I'm gonna have to wait. I'm gonna wait until this dries before I cut off this edge here, just to make sure that it cuts straight and it doesn't get real jaggedy looking. Okay, so got that. And in between times I do sometimes I do put, most of the time I do put my my pin back in my glue so that it doesn't, the top doesn't dry out and I don't have to keep getting it unjammed. Okay, this is an example of where I could put maybe another one of these cutouts that I have. Here, that's pretty there. Let me see if I have any other pages where I like it better. I do like that. Oh, that's pretty. Okay, this is a little poem about mermaids, and I think it's written, I read through it, and I think it's written by the people that made a soap called fairy soap, because it's a poem about how they use fairy soap to wash their clothes, which are this little seashell hanging on the clothesline. Kind of cute. Oops. Now, if you're the type of person that's a little bit clumsy, which actually I am, but I'm doing it like this because I'm doing a video and I don't have room, is to glue this to the side on top of it, like say a piece of wax paper or a glue book, so that you don't okay, I ran out somewhere along the way there, so I will pick up again. I've just glued this page down. Mermaid poem. And let's see. I have my mermaid stamp. I think I'll stamp her on here, since this background is fairly flat. Another idea, if this doesn't turn out the way I like it, then what I'll do is I will stamp it on another piece of paper and just glue it over the top of this. But I'll try this first and see if I like it. Actually, I might try doing it on another piece of paper, since I have a piece of paper right here. Okay. This is going to turn out. I got to get the whole thing on there. I'm going to rock it just a little bit. Ooh, that turned out nice. I like it. Okay, since I've got this paper here and this stamp out, I might as well do another one. Make sure I cover the whole stamp. Just have just a tiny bit on this edge over here that came out. By the shell. Okay. And another thing, by stamping it on the paper like this, if you don't get it exactly straight, what you can do is you can make sure your edges are straight on the paper when you cut it. So that helps a bit more. Oh, that one's pretty too. Actually, I like this one better because this one has a little bit of blotchy thing there. And then I always stamp off my stamp. Make sure I get the ink off. Okay, I'll put that stamp aside for now. Oh, another thing I can do is I could do some script stamping here and there on a page. Probably where I'm going to put the mermaid or another stamped page. Don't have to worry about too much about the middle part here because that's where that's going to go. And that helps the page, you know, of course, not be quite as white as well. And just for a little bit of continuity, I'm going to stamp. You guys didn't see that because I had it out of frame. Sorry about that. And let's see if there's some other pages I can. This would be a good page to write on. I should have done that on that side. Okay, that's enough for now of that. This ink to the side, because I don't want to get it on the book. Okay, where was the place I was going to put this girl? Right here. Now I can decide if I want to cut it or tear it. I think I will tear it. Oops. Now when you're tearing, and I don't do this enough, is I need to put my fingers up here where the ruler is on the spot that I'm tearing, and then gradually move them down to make sure that I've got a hold on it all the way down. There we go. And I'm going to do it on the other side. and this is a good paper to save for collage. Okay, once again, I'm putting my fingers where I'm starting, and then as I go, I'm moving them down. Make sure I've got a good firm hold along that ruler. This one I'll save for later. Often, some of these stamp things you can watercolor paint, and I think I'd like to do that on this, but I don't think I'll do it quite yet. I think I'll wait off camera because it does take a bit of time. And I could put a frame around this if I wanted to. I think I'll just glue it down for now, and I can always decide later on what I want. I think I will do just a little bit of inking around the edges. And I can also check and see, maybe I might want something else. Maybe some shells. Maybe another star, maybe a starfish. Yeah, kind of like that. So in order to get that in the correct position, I am going to mark it with my pencil on an area where I can see where the pencil mark is. It's very light pencil, so you can see where to put it. And use some glue. Now this glue shouldn't show through quite as much because this is heavier cardstock paper that I stamped on. Okay, I hope you're enjoying doing some crafting with me, or along with me today. I will be doing one more video on this particular book, and then we'll probably do a flip through at the end of that video. On the next video, I'll show you how to do the charm on the side, on the front. And I'm going to try to get this so it's on the page pretty well, but yet it's still, and I need to hold this down a little bit more because this cardstock that this starfish is printed on is kind of thick. Go back and hold down a couple of these edges. There we go. That's pretty. And I may, like I said, I may go back in with some watercolors and paint that in. I'm not sure yet. And at the same time, that other one that I stamped, I'll probably do that same thing too. And I need to do some more pockets and so on. I could do some more stenciling. Let me find a page that is blank that I can do some, I can do like a corner pocket. Wow, okay, oh here we go. I could do a corner pocket on here and put a tag in. Oh, here's a pocket I was going to use on this and this. And how does that fit? Yeah, I like that. Take this off. This was kind of a separate thing. And this is a pocket that is gusseted, so it will hold. It'll hold a little bit more items in it. Okay, let me. I'm just going to put this a little bit on here. Because I don't want to glue it down to the background. Because that'll keep the stuff from being able to fit in down to the bottom. I just want it to, okay, so I'm going to glue along the edges here. I don't need to get too close to those inner edges because I don't want that glue to go down and through that back. And now, since this is fairly thick right here, I'm going to try not to get it too down in there, too close to that fold of the binding, because I want the pages to be able to turn pretty well. Okay. Need to kind of maybe mermaid this up a bit. I like her on there. Let's see what else I've got. This one. It's fun. They're all riding on their seahorses and playing their little harp. No, I don't like that with this blue. I might need something that has blue in it. Should I cover over this flower? This little mermaid? I think I will. And then just leave that kind of blank. For now anyway, until I maybe decide I want something on there. So I can get that flower off of there. But I doubt it. No, because it's on fabric. I'm not going to even try. Okay. I might put Beachy Attitude on here. With the stencil. One of these great stencils that have sticky on the back that are reusable. Okay. Get fairly dark this time. Sometimes it's hard to get it dark enough that it shows up. Yeah, these stencils are great because they don't move around a lot. Let's see how we did. very good. Okay. Okay, and while we're here, I'm going to stick a little fish over here. One thing neat about mermaids is they get to live at the beach all their lives. I suppose if you were a farm girl or a country girl, you wouldn't want to be a mermaid all the time, but you could be one for a short time. Okay, so that's all now for today. I wish you all peace of mind, and I hope you will join me on part 3 of this, where I'll kind of finish up the journal and I'll show you a flip through of it. So that's the mermaid journal for now. Thanks for joining me. Peace of mind.